Today, I'm very happy to speak with Jill Garcia from the Hutton Group. Actually, she bought the business in the middle of the pandemic. So imagine what she's going through. And her story is absolutely inspiring. And I hope you will enjoy listening to her as much as I did. Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Business of Meeting podcast. Today, I'm absolutely thrilled to speak with what I consider the poster child of entrepreneurship. She bought a company just before the pandemic, and she is thriving. She's looking at the future. She's keeping an amazing, optimistic view, and she has a fabulous story. Welcome, Jill Garcia. I'm so happy to speak with you today.
And I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And I saw what you were posting on LinkedIn about your company, and I said, oh my God, that's the true American spirit, the land of freedom and entrepreneurship. And as we know, it's a roller coaster. But before you get there, you've been in the industry for about 30 years. You work with park destination management. You work with as an independent planner in a large third party, record sales for many years. What's your journey and how did you start and join our industry?
Well, I will tell you my story. It's rather interesting and fun. I moved to Orlando, Florida with high hopes that I would somehow meet famous people by getting into the hospitality industry. And where else could you work, other than Orlando that has Mickey and Universal came down the line. And I thought, I'm going to move there and I'm going to get this fabulous job right out of college. So started my career working as an assistant in a hotel brand that is no longer around, the Stouffer Orlando Resort. Worked my way up in the convention department. Left there, had an opportunity to then move to Universal Studios Florida, which was my dream job because I would have the opportunity to meet all of those celebrities. And I did have some fun run-ins, anywhere from Shaquille O'Neal, who I ran an event for in the Orlando Magic, to my run-in with Steven Spielberg.
Oh, wow.
That was something else. So I was so very lucky, had such a great run with them. Had my children, so I took off some time and decided that I wanted to kind of be on the other side. I was kind of, I've been, throwing the party, I want to go to the party. So I got into meeting planning and started working with some independent planners, around the country. My favorite memory is probably doing a Starbucks meeting back in 2004. We did the largest serving of coffee. I believe it went into the record books at that time, for 10,000 Starbucks folks. So that was really fun. Wow. So I had that was fun. Had some really cool experiences doing some independent planning, and then had an opportunity to join the largest global site selection company on the globe and worked with Helms Briscoe for almost 14 years and loved that experience. Met so many wonderful people, saw so many wonderful hotels, traveled the world, and was doing just fine. And then December of 2019 came, and this lovely woman who I've known for many years approached me about potentially purchasing her company, her planning company. And I live in Pittsburgh. Having come from Orlando years before, I just was missing the interaction of being with clients. I didn't have, with Helms Briscoe, didn't have many clients here at all. And all of her clients with her company were based in Pittsburgh. And I love the idea of being able to go out to lunch and entertaining clients and being at client events, and committed in February of 2020 to purchase the Hutton Group. And then March 13th, the day I remember very clearly because my child came home early from school and said, Mom, there's something going on. And here's the pandemic. And here I am in, February of 21 and owning a business. And boy, oh boy, how the year has shaped up.
Yeah, that's fascinating. And before we get into that, you mentioned Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
With such passion in your voice, can you share the story of the event you did with him? What happened?
So this is one of my favorite stories of all time. I was just telling it last week to a friend. In working at Universal, you have run-ins, but we're to be very we were to be very, gracious and quiet and not get excited or hysterical. And in this case, I would have probably lost my cookies and been so excited, but I controlled myself. I was working a VIP event up in what we called our VIP lounge, got a call that a true VIP needed to come up and wait for his car. And I said, okay, that's fine. They said, Mr. Spielberg will be up in a moment. And at the time I was literally 9 months pregnant, and my stomach started to, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to go into, he is literally like, if you could meet the one person in the world, it was him. Schindler's List had just come out, and that was very close to my heart for many reasons. And as I speak about it, I get chills. I just think he's a genius. And he came up in the room. He was an advisor to Universal Studios. So the fact that I got to be near him in his, I think of him, greatness, I guess you would say, I was just thrilled. But I had to control myself. And he came to where I was standing, and there was a movie reel, and he picked it up, and he looked at it, and he looked at me, and he said, "What do you think this is?" That's Steven Spielberg asking me about a movie. It was, at that time, the most exciting moment in my life. I was just so thrilled to be standing in his presence. So
that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
It's really cool.
And then you went to the hospital.
And then I went to the hospital and delivered the baby right then and there. My boss is like, "Don't have the baby here." I said, "Oh my God, I feel like I'm having contractions." Yeah, it was really funny.
So you're going from hotels, then you're going to theme park, the MC, the site selection. What are the triggers in your professional career when you say, okay, now it's time to move, or is it serendipity? How does it work?
I really believe in things are meant to be. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe in fate. And I believe I was fated way back when to meet Shirley Hutton, who sold me the Hutton group. We talked for many years about joining her as an independent planner, and the stars just did not align. I was very happy with my current, my position with HB. And I just felt like I was meant to meet her, and we talked over the years, but nothing happened. And I don't think it was meant to happen. So when she approached me and said, now's the time, I thought, you know what, now is the time. I've done everything I could do in my career. I feel like in the hospitality industry, I really had touched every piece of it. And I was ready to own my own business and have a say and kind of control where it was to go. And, Pittsburgh is a small city. It's considered, I guess, second, maybe even third tier, but it's an awesome city. And I think we have so much to offer. And I think truly, and I'll have to tell you the story of how I got here because it's really rather interesting, but I really think it's a city that meeting planners need to see. When we, the city had PCMA here, I believe it's 2-3 years ago now.
Yes.
It just showed off this city so well. It's just such a fabulous city to hold meetings. And I want to bring meetings here, and I want to promote our city. So I'm really super excited about this opportunity.
I came to that conference with PCMA, and I will never forget in my life. I arrive at night, I was in the car coming from the airport, and we go into this tunnel. Yeah. And suddenly, whoa.
Right?
It opens up on the city and the lights. It was beautiful.
It really is. And that's what sold me on this city. I came here on a FAM. That's why I live here now. I was here on a FAM.
So that's the story, how you arrived in Pittsburgh?
The same thing. Did that same thing. Not, it was in 2010. Did that same thing, went through that tunnel. And even now I'm getting chills. Like, it is so stunning. You wouldn't know on the other side of the tunnel, what you're going to expect. And then you get there and it's just phenomenal. And we have a great, nightlife. We have, well, not right now. We had a great nightlife, restaurants galore, really fabulous food and music, just so many things to offer. And teams, we have the Steelers, the Penguins, the Pirates, and I'll say that quietly. But, coming here and having the opportunity to see the city from a meeting planner's perspective and then actually spending a little time on my own, I was blown away. And I called my then husband and said, I want to move to Pittsburgh.
Oh,
And
wow.
of course, yeah, he thought I was a little nuts. And this is talk about serendipity. He's like, yeah, no, we're happy in Orlando. I'm like, yeah, but I want to move to Pittsburgh. And 3 weeks later, he got a job here.
No way.
I was at the Renaissance Hotel, beautiful old historic property, staring out at the PNC Park where the Pirates play and the river, and saying to myself, how beautiful, can you imagine working here? And 3 weeks later, my husband got a job there.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. So I believe it was meant to be.
Yeah. And did you always dream of having your own company, or is just an evolution in your business life?
I really feel like it was an evolution. I never, way back when, would have ever imagined that I would own my own company. But when I was working for Holmes Briscoe, and the model there is, it really is like running your own company. And I kind of got a taste of it, and I liked it. And like I said, it just really was, it felt like the right time, and it felt like the right opportunity. And I even where we stand right now, I don't hesitate to say that I am super excited and so thrilled to have this with me right now, to be in this position. I'm fearful. We have reason to be fearful right now, but I also am just so excited for where this is going. And my belief is that, a year from now, we'll be laughing and saying, oh, look at us back then. And we'll be throwing parties and be back to somewhat of a normal state.
Well, if there's anything that need to be said about today, is exactly that. And I remember the previous crisis when I also had my own meeting planning company back then in Brussels, and the crisis hit and everything. We always coming back. Unfortunately, we're the last to come back, especially this time. And we're always coming back because human beings crave meetings face to face. And the question is how you navigate in between, which is, of course, fear. But fear makes you more aware, learning about yourself, and becoming even stronger afterwards. So you're absolutely right. I always quote Winston Churchill said, when you go through hell, keep walking.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I do feel like we come back stronger every single time we have. Yeah. This time is, people say that never seen anything like it's absolutely true. And it is unbelievable to see how many people are suffering and how many folks in the hospitality industry are out of jobs, and, the restaurants and such. But I do believe we are going to come back stronger. I tell myself that every day. I have to tell myself that, but I do truly believe it.
And you say that you can do anything you put your mind into.
Absolutely.
So did you decide one day that you'll become like a President's Club? I don't know exactly how it's called, and be so successful for so many years. So what is the success? What your success was based on?
It's the day I started with Helms Briscoe, I said to myself, this is going to be a challenge, but I'm going to do this. And I wrote down, and I kept it, and it's still sitting here. If you believe, you can achieve. If you believe, you can achieve. You believe in yourself. You believe in your abilities. And I was not a salesperson. I come from the service side. And I've always been a strong servicer. I love working with clients from that perspective. And, with HB, you have to sell. In that model, it is a selling model. And I told myself I was going to do it. And lo and behold, 2 years later, I was on the President's Club, which is the honor we receive for selling $1 million or more of business. And it was amazing. I was with a member of that club for 11 years. This would have been my 12th year.
So you're starting in sales where you've never been working in before, and 2 years later, you are so successful. What got you there? Belief
in myself. And I don't think sales is really truly selling. I think it's building partnerships. And I believe that the partnerships that I built from my years in the hotel, at the resort, with the DMC, as meeting planning, it's keeping those relationships and keeping them firm, and keeping, you may not speak to John Smith every day, but a year after last seeing John Smith, I can call John and say, hey, what's going on? Can we work on something together? And that's actually what happened. My first piece of business came from someone that I had worked with when I was at the DMC. she was working at a corporation and said, sure, let's work together. And lo and behold, a big deal came out of it. So I couldn't be more thrilled. It really is about partnerships, relationships. We're all in it together. And even more so now, I find it really prevalent that people are really working with one another to build each other up, which has been.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I would add two things. The first one is a system to keep working, keeping track, following up and everything. And the second thing I would add, which I know you have, but I think it's important for those who are thinking of having their own business and for all the others that need to sell, is to be persistent and resilient. Yes. Every day, you do the calls.
Yeah, you do have to. It was never my forte. I have a work wife when I was back with HB, and she was kind of the sales arm. I was the relationship keeper. So I was the one sending out the emails. Hey, how you doing? Do you have a meeting coming up? Can we help you? And even now I'm finding that people from my past are popping up, people I haven't talked to in years are seeing things on LinkedIn, seeing my posts, seeing what's, my announcement that I've now own the company, and are coming forward and offering their services and, suggesting we work together. And I really do feel so strongly in relationship building. And yes, being very persistent certainly helps quite a bit.
Absolutely. And one other thing you told me as well is that don't let anybody tell you it's impossible. So if you can bring your mind back to when you're discussing to buy the Hutton Group business, are there people that coming to you and said, are you crazy? You're having such a great career. You're so successful. Why would you do that?
My husband would be the first person.
Okay.
What are you doing? What are you thinking? Yeah. And, it was interesting. I had a moment, I think we all had this, like you question yourself, can I, should I? And I didn't know that I can do this. Like I thought I really needed to bring in a partner with me. Like I should have a co-owner with me. And there was potential for that to happen. And long story short, it didn't work out. And I'm so glad that it didn't work out. I'm so glad that I did this on my own and that I showed myself I could do this. Like I really can do this. And I am, knock on wood, things are going very smoothly. We held our first hybrid meeting 3 weeks ago now. It went smashingly. Being back in a hotel felt fabulous. The safety measures the hotel took were incredible. And we all left there, the whole 20 of us left there feeling so invigorated and so excited to be back in person with one another. Again, most of the attendees were virtual, but the executives and a few of the attendees and my staff were together, and it just felt so good.
Well, what is different, for you now as a business owner compared to before?
I think it's hard to make a sale now. It's hard to know what the right thing to do is. Before, I felt very comfortable reaching out and, checking in and when is your next meeting? We're having a hard time with that right now, to be honest. Not my staff and I not knowing what's appropriate. What's the right thing? People are suffering, businesses have gone away. People we used to work with, they're not there any longer. So it's really hard trying to know what path to follow because we're trying to introduce ourselves. We're trying to get the word out about us, but we don't want to be insensitive when times are really tough for people.
Right. How do you get the word out about your business?
I've been spending a lot of time on LinkedIn. I've been spending a lot of time reaching out to people that I know from the past, I've been on the phone a lot. I'm not a phone person. I've been on the phone a lot, emails, and again, it's really hard. Fortunately, this business came with a couple of clients already built in. So we're working really hard, local clients to Pittsburgh, we're working really hard with them to continue that relationship that the former owner built up for many years, asking them for referrals. It's a lot of referrals. And we're just plugging the best we can to move forward to create something fabulous.
That's awesome. Really inspiring, your story. I really love it.
Thank you.
It's great. One of the other things you share with me is that, and we are totally aligned on that tough times make tough people.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you get into that? What is why is it so important for you? And why is this way of looking based on your experience?
I think that really, it comes from a personal perspective. You know, I've had a really rough couple of years. My mom passed in 2018. My dad just passed. Yeah, thanks. My dad just passed 4 months ago. And
I'm sorry.
Yeah, thanks. Not COVID related, but still, like, it's you really realize how strong you are when you go through something like that. The loss of a family member or the loss of a marriage. I'm in my second marriage now, and you just realize who you are. You realize how you're built, and it pushes you to do things not only on a personal level, but on a professional. You see how strong you are. I never knew how strong I was until all of these things that, happened to me did happen. And I, of course, horrible. Like, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy, but it's made me who I am. Every one of these scary, negative experiences has made me who I am. Stronger by the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always reminded of Viktor Frankl in Man's Search for Meaning. It said the only thing that you can control is your attitude, regardless of the situation. It's
yeah, it's true. I mean, like I said, I was really starting to ramp up and get things ready to start pushing out. We weren't going to push out till January 1st. That's when I officially purchased the business. I committed 10 months ago, but officially purchased as of January 1st. And with my dad passing right as I was so excited and ready to move forward with this, it was really hard, but I know that he would want me to do this. He wouldn't want me to sit and cry over him. He would want me to work hard, and I had a dream, and he understood that dream to a certain extent. And, he didn't really understand our industry, but he was excited for me. So I do it in their memory.
Well, then the conversation would go that way, but
yeah.
I always wanted to have a podcast, and I thought I was going to launch it last summer, and actually not COVID related, but last March, my father passed away.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And thank you. And then I reach out to the team, and because I want to be busy and put my mind in something positive, and I asked them, so how about we launch in 2 weeks? And they go, okay. Do you have interviews? I said, not yet. And then yeah. So that's you're absolutely right. Tough times make tough people. And as an entrepreneur and the roller coaster of entrepreneurship, it's really when you face with tough times that you actually grow. And that's when you actually learn and become even stronger and get better afterwards.
Absolutely. The pandemic, again, I mean, the plague has been awful. It has been for so many reasons. It's been awful, but it has pushed me. It has pushed me for my staff. I want them to be successful. We're doing things that have not been done in the city before. We're starting a DMC. There hasn't been a DMC in the city in years, and we are pushing a DMC out in the next couple months. We're working on things that I didn't think possible, when I heard the state that we were going to be in and where we were last summer, but we're going to do it. And I truly believe it's going to be a huge success. I don't doubt it. I just know. And I'm putting my heart into it.
That's awesome. So how do you see your business in 5 years?
I see the girls running it for me. And I'm sitting on a beach in Curacao, drinking a Mai Tai. I think the DMC is going to be a huge success. One of my employees is taking that on, wholeheartedly. I think it's a need for our city. I think our meeting planning services are going to grow tenfold. I know that. I think what I've been going on, my motivation most recently has been, sadly, so many people have lost their jobs. Companies are not going to be able to rehire those people. Associations are going to need help. And I think the floodgates are going to open and we're going to be there at the right time.
Absolutely.
So timing is everything. So I really do think that is going to help us. Bringing on people that are very skilled and that have some time on their hands and are interested in just doing something to keep busy. I have a couple of folks out there that I'm speaking to right now that are interested in getting the word out about us and are interested in connecting and are looking forward to. There's some great meeting planning companies in Pittsburgh. Don't get me wrong. There's fabulous companies, but I just want to be different. I want to be something amazing so that 5 years from now, when I'm sitting drinking the Mai Tai and I'm talking to them on, a Zoom call, they could just tell me everything's running so smoothly, Jill, you just enjoy yourself.
That could happen, but you know that whatever project, there's always something that is happening that was not planned, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
So when you look at the future, you look at your team, is there something special that maybe in the past you always said, when I will have my team, this is what I would do. This is how I would manage them. This is how I would communicate. Is there something different that you always wanted to do and that now you can do it because it's your own company?
That's a really good question. I really believe that you have to encourage your employees, the people that work for you, and really make them feel wanted and needed. And working independently like I have for so many years, that was not necessarily there for me, like winning the President's Club Award. That was fabulous and receiving, the recognition and such. But previous to that, having worked kind of independently for so many years, I never felt that, what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe connection. I don't know. I'm really excited to connect with the people that are working for me right now to make them feel like, they can do this. We're having our days of doubts. Obviously, there's some days that are difficult and we have our moments of doubt, but we convene and we chat once a week and we're constantly with one another in email and Teams calls and just really pushing each other to be our very best and believe that we can do this. Yes. And I've hired some great gals. There's 3 ladies working for me right now from different walks of life. One I met on Facebook. I didn't even know her, my director of meetings. And here we are, 6 months later, and she's pulling off some fabulous meetings. It's been inspiring. They've inspired me. That's the tag, name of our company, the Hutton Group. I added inspired meetings and events because I feel inspired by what we do. I want my employees to feel inspired by what we do, and I want clients to be inspired. I want them to leave their meeting feeling that we pulled it off as a team together and that it couldn't have gone any better, that the Hutton Group, Inspired Meetings and Events, made that happen for them.
And Jill, I have to tell you, your story is very inspiring. What you're doing right now is very inspiring. I wish you all the luck, and maybe we'll check again in 1 year, and with a bottle of champagne. What will we be celebrating then in 1 year?
Oh, our success, passing whatever that financial goal is that I've written down on my little piece of paper that's hidden under my computer. It's a goal for myself. It's a goal, obviously, for the company. We will be celebrating that, and then we're going to get on a plane and go to Tahiti and start visiting hotels again. And I am so thankful for this opportunity, and thank you for sharing my story and allowing me to do that. It's exciting, and I want to see people, when we're down in the dumps, just remember we can do anything that we put our minds to. And if you believe, I tell the girls all the time, you can achieve.
Be like Jill.
Be like Jill today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Jill, thank you for sharing your very inspiring story with us. A story of grit, resilience, and always believing in what you can achieve. I can't wait to witness your success over the years. If you want to reach out to me, please connect with me on LinkedIn or join my Facebook group at www.eventbusinessformula.com/group. Thank you.